Good afternoon, everybody. Today is Friday, and that means it is day 5 in Guitar HIIT. So far, we've learned how to tune the guitar. We have learned how to strum some chords, some simplified chords, albeit, but chords nonetheless. And we've also learned about chord progressions and strumming patterns. Before we get started, as always, as well as delivering this course free of charge and leaving it free forevermore, I also want to give you guys some more free stuff. So head on to my website. It is oneladmusic.com/top10tips download. It's a handy guide that I've put together to basically just map out how you're going to start playing music or inspire you and give you some enthusiasm and encouragement if you already do play an instrument and you've sort of hit a plateau, or maybe you just kind of, I don't know, you've lost interest, and this is how this is going to get you back into it. As I said earlier on during the week, I'm also working on putting up some more free stuff. I'm working on a book, believe it or not, and I'm going to make it free for everybody from my website, possibly even a little podcast. So keep an eye out for them. oneladmusic.com, or you can click the link in the description of this video. As always, I really appreciate everybody and anybody sharing, tagging, telling people about this, and just spreading the word. Yesterday we spoke about practicing with a drum machine, and we were using the 3 chords of E minor, G and C. So let's just very quickly recap on that. Here we have our drum machine again. So same as yesterday, I have the tempo set to 50 BPM. It is in 4/4 time, which means there's 4 beats in the bar. It means that every time a bar starts, you tap your foot 4 times, and then you start and you tap it another 4 times, etc, etc, etc. I'm sure I'll be doing a music theory course in the very near future, so I will explain all then. So let's have a look, see how this goes. Let's just very quickly recap. So we're going to go from E minor. We're going to go from E minor to G and to C twice. So we're going to do E minor on the 1, G on the 3, and C on the next one and the next 3. It's going to sound something like this. Let's go back to the drum machine view. 1, 2, 3, 4. So E minor, 1, 2, G, C, and C again. 3, 4. One more time. Sorry about that, LinkedIn. Someone get onto LinkedIn and tell them that I'm busy, will you? Lovely. Now, I'm going to learn a new chord today. This one is called D. So D for drums. There you go. Simplified version of D is you get your first finger, you put it on the 2nd fret of the G string. So G is 1, 2, 3 strings up from the bottom as you're looking at it, and you play that string that you're holding down and the one above it, the D. So there you go. So that's how we play a simplified version of D. And today we're going to use the same strumming patterns as we were using yesterday with the drum machine, but we're going to change up the pattern, or we're going to change up the chord progression a little bit. We are going to do what is called a 1, 5, 6, 4 chord progression. It is called that because you use the 1st, the 5th, the 6th, and the 4th chords in whatever key it is that you're playing in. Don't worry if that doesn't make an awful lot of sense. Just take my word for it. The reason that we're going to do that is because the 1, 5, 6, 4 is probably the most popular chord progression in all of popular music. Like when we start playing this, you're going to start recognizing songs straight away. Okay? So we're going to start off on G. Swap the camera. We're going to start off on G. We're going to go down to D. Then we're going to go up to E minor. If you want, for today, doing the simplified versions of these chords, it might be easier to use your middle finger to do that simple D, because they're going to go up to the simple E minor afterwards. And remember, the simple E minor is using your middle finger on the 2nd fret of the D string and strumming all the strings beneath it as you're looking at it. So if your middle finger is already on the second fret on the G, it might be easier just to use that instead of your first and then having to change like that. But it's up to yourself. So we'll start that again. So we're going from G to D to E minor and then over to C. And again, G, D, E minor, and C. And what we're going to do is we're going to change chords on every second beat. So I'm going to demonstrate that with the drum machine. Hopefully you can see that. Here it comes. 1, 2, 3. So starting off on G. 1, 2, D, E minor, and C. Do it again. G, D, E minor, and C. That sound like anything to anybody yet? I can think of a couple of songs that sounds like, but we'll not get into it. This will all get uploaded to my website, onelabmusic.com /guitar HIIT, and it'll be under the drop down menu over on the right hand side under online courses. There's some other courses up there, but this is the free one. It's called Guitar HIIT, HIIT, High Intensity Instrument Training. There you go. And every day I've been uploading a downloadable document as supporting material for each lesson. Today's one has 2 different documents. It's got 2 pages in it. It's got one with the simplified chords, and it's also got one with the full chords. So I've called it simplified. So I've called it Guitar HIIT Day 5, Simple and Advanced. So I'm going to show you what that means now. So for anyone that maybe has already played guitar before and you kind of half know your way around it, this might be for you. So let's have a look-see at what we mean. So we'll start off with G, because that's the first one in the chord progression today. So the simple version of G is this. You put your third finger on the 3rd fret of the high E string and you strum that string as well as the 2 strings above it as you're looking at. Now the full version of G is you start off with your middle finger, put it on the 2nd fret of the A string, so that's the 2nd string down from the top as you're looking at it. Then get your middle finger, put it on the 3rd string, or the 3rd fret of the low E string, which is the 1st string as you're looking at it. And then this is where your 3rd finger on the 3rd fret of the high E comes in. You put that down there. So before you had this, and now you have this. As I said before, in one of the other days, they both have the same flavour and are, for all intents and purposes, the same chord. They're made up of all the same notes, believe it or not. But this one just it's more rounded. You can also add to that again by bringing in your pinky on the 3rd fret of the high E and putting your 3rd finger on the 3rd fret of the B, and then 1st finger up here on the 2nd fret of the A, and then middle finger on the 3rd fret of the E. Again, same thing. Okay, so that's the full G. The full D is, again, when I was saying use your 1st finger on the 2nd fret of the G. You get your middle finger. Now this is probably the one that I myself struggled with most to get right when I was learning. So Rome wasn't built in a day. 1st finger there on the 2nd fret of the G. Middle finger goes on the 2nd fret of the high E, and then the 3rd finger goes on the 3rd fret of the B. So you're starting off with the G with your 1st finger, the high E with your 2nd finger, and then come back in between the 2 of them with your 3rd finger. And you exclude the low E and usually the A, although you can leave in the A if you'd like. You strum it like this. And that is the full D. So far we've got G, and we've got D. Excellent. Now for E minor. So before we were doing E minor with the middle finger on the 2nd fret of the A and strumming all the strings underneath it. Now we get our 1st finger and put it on the 2nd fret of the A string. and we strum all 6 strings. Same crack as before. Same sort of flavour. Just a little bit more rounded, a little bit fuller. So we've got G, we've got D, we've got E minor. And now we need to go to C. C again is a bit of an awkward one, so Rome wasn't built in a day. Give yourself time to actually master this. C starts off with your 3rd finger on the 3rd fret of the A, your middle finger on the 2nd fret of the D. So the A is the 2nd one as you're looking at it. The D is the one directly beneath it as you're looking at it. Then we skip the G. We leave the G open. So we don't fret it, but we do play it. And then we bring our 1st finger down to the 1st fret of the B string. And we also leave the high E open. So we exclude the 1st string, or the thickest string, the 1st one as you're looking at it, and we strum the rest of them. And that is your C. A really good way of excluding the low E string is by catching underneath it. Catching underneath it with just like the top bit of your finger. The bit just like right there. Just so that it's just touching. So hopefully you can hear that. That's actually, it is making a noise, but it's not within the, when you play the chord as a whole, you can't hear it. If you leave the low E in, it doesn't sound horrendous, but it's not needed. Okay, so let's try that with our chord progression. As I was saying, this part of the download is page number 2 for those of you that are a little bit more advanced and more able and maybe been playing for a little bit longer. So let's go back to our drum machine. We're going to press play and we're going to do G to D to E minor to C. Full chords. 1, 2, 3, 4, and G. Down to D. Up to E minor. And now C. One more time. Down to D. E minor. And C. So there you have it. And of course, if you do think of any questions when you're watching this later on, please do feel free. Send me an email, barry@oneladmusic.com. Get me on the Facebook page, One Lad Music Services. On Instagram, TikTok, whatever you want. Give us a shout. Get me on my website. It's oneladmusic.com. If there's anything you don't understand, and I'll do my absolute best to get back to you and help you through this. So we'll leave it there. Thanks very much. Go and download my free stuff. Link in the description of the video, and tag one person. If they're not on Facebook, send them a link via their email or send them a text or, I don't know, carrier pigeon, whatever floats your boat. Keep an eye on my website over the weekend for all the videos in week 1 as well as some other free stuff that I've been working on. I'm going to leave you there. Enjoy your weekend, folks. Thank you. Bye bye.